Since the founding of the first studio in Glasgow's West End in 1840, photographic images have chronicled the changing cityscape and lives of Glaswegians. Photographic responses to Glasgow's architecture and the life on its streets are many and diverse. Photographers have set out to record and document places and ways of life, to explore composition or setting or the city's distinctive light, to expose uncomfortable realities or to make past and present coincide in a single frame. In the late 1860s, lithographer Thomas Annan received a commission from the City of Glasgow Improvement Trust to document tenement life in the city. The population of Glasgow had risen from 100,000 in 1811 to almost 400,000 in the 1860s. Citing overcrowding, disease and poor quality housing, the City of Glasgow Improvements Act of 1866 ordered the demolition and redevelopment of whole neighbourhoods in the heart of the old city. Annan's mission was to create a record of a city centre tenement life that was about to disappear. His resulting Old Closes and Streets of Glasgow series established him as an early exponent of social documentary photography. In these remarkable detailed images, lines of clothes hang out to dry, while in the narrow passageways beneath them, working people and their children stand alone or together. The photographic process required long exposure times, and the slightest movement resulted in blurs that give the photographs a ghostly quality. Yet Annan's own position is ambiguous. Are the tenement dwellers present in these images simply there to supply a sense of scale and perspective? Or is the viewer being prompted to acknowledge lives otherwise overlooked? From the 1950s to the 1980s, the Italian-born Scottish photographer Oscar Marzaroli charted the changes in post-war Glasgow. His purpose was quite different from that of Annan. It was not to fulfil a commission from the city authorities for the purpose of official records. Rather, he offered a personal vision, privileging the everyday life of people in the city and finding means to capture how it was transforming all around them. The demolition of areas such as the Old Gorbals led to the construction of modern high-rises, heralded as symbols of the city's post-war transformation. Marzaroli's images of solidarity, togetherness and childhood offered a counterpoint to the narrative of urban dereliction and decay. His photographs show working-class Glaswegians poised between two realities, two moments in their city's social history, between disappearing tenement communities that were a past home to many and ambitious high-rise visions of the future. In 1980, following a commission by the Sunday Times, renowned French photographer Raymond Depardon created a powerful collection of images of life in the city. These photographs were not published by the newspaper at the time, and they were unknown to the public until over 30 years later. Like other British cities in the early 1980s, the Glasgow of these photographs was grappling with the collapse of industry. They expose stark realities of poverty, unemployment and urban decline. Given that he was more accustomed to working in deserts and conflict zones in the global south, Depardon's photographs surprise in how vividly they capture the city's distinctive light and the feel of neighbourhoods such as Govan, Camlachie and Maryhill. Disparate elements of colour, of differences of scale or human interest, fuse momentarily and remarkably. Although many of these photographs emphasise disorientation and vulnerability. Others attest to the strength of character and community in those he met. They have children's experience of their home place at their core. Streets and closes are places of discovery and play, where the bonds of friendship are formed. When I began photographing the city in 2008, the Glasgow of Marzaroli's days seemed long gone. No blackened tenements, shipyards were effectively no more. No wains running around the streets. The cityscape had indeed changed, but I could still see the same high-rise buildings that Depardon had photographed in Glasgow 1980, and when I framed them against a similar grey Glasgow sky, it was clear that for parts of the city, nothing had changed. The city fathers had now condemned them as sink estates, unfit for habitation, and the clock was ticking to remove them from the skyline and to usher in the new modern Glasgow, whatever that meant. I photographed these buildings and schemes extensively from the inside, from the outside, and sometimes from underground. I knew I had to capture more than just the photographs themselves. I had to capture the voices and the stories of the people on the front line. I wanted to find out why these buildings and housing schemes had failed. What was the turning point? Was there an alternative to wholesale demolition? And what was to replace them? This is just one possible selection of examples of Glasgow's urban photography. Whatever path we take through the work of those who have pictured the city's past and present, it's clear that photographers have often been present in those times when a way of life is about to disappear in the city. In moments that mark the loss not just of a set of physical landmarks, but of shared experiences and ways of being. They invite us as viewers to look again, and to build stories about the people and places they depict, about their past and future, and about our own.